Hello everyone, Mike1217 here, welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And now we are at the surface. We have just entered the sealed temple, and something awaits us here, so let's take a look at what exactly awaits us. I guess I can demonstrate the bird statues right here. It's always good to at least talk to these, so that way you activate them, because these do also serve as warp points. You can save your game at them, and you can also warp to them. In a kind of an inconvenient way. I'll demonstrate that once we get the ability to do it, but right now it's not important. This is who we came to meet, this elderly woman. And I find it interesting how her hair kind of goes in a metronome, though. I think that's supposed to have a meaning to it, but I just don't know what it is, because I'm stupid, I guess. But I guess while we're talking to her, if you want to read the text, you can. But while we're talking to her, I guess I can talk about the overworld and the regions in this game, just the way this game is laid out in general. It's pretty unique from other Zelda games. Again, one of many things that makes this game unique. Basically, in this game, there are actually... We basically have a split overworld that has 3 different sections in it that aren't interconnected. And the only way they actually are connected is through the sky. The sky is the main overworld, and you get to the other 3 mini worlds from the sky. And I'm kind of iffy on this idea, actually. I prefer just a traditional connected overworld. Because, I don't know, I just feel like there isn't enough variety in the environments in this game. This is only 3 regions, and you'll find yourself revisiting regions pretty often in the game, and to do just multiple different, like, huge tasks. And I almost feel like they could have just added more regions, just had more variety. If they're gonna really put like as many temples as they did in the game. There's 6 temples in the game. I'll just say that right now. There's 6 main temples in the game. 2 for each region. And I feel like they could have just made 6 regions and had them all their unique type of theme if they really wanted to go with that. But instead just have 3 different themes. Like, by themes I mean environmental themes. Here is the forest. Later on, we'll learn about the other 2. But I feel like they could have just made more variety. Don't you agree, or do you prefer just revisiting the same ones multiple times? Because as you revisit them, you'll have more things you can do with them, because you get more items, and you'll have more ways to progress and stuff like that. So you'll see more of the regions with each successive revisit. But I don't know, I just feel like there could be more variety in the environments in the game. That's really what I'm trying to say. I'm kind of disappointed by the lack of variety in environments. But that's just me. I just like varied environments in Zelda games. Like, a good example is Skyward... Or not... stop getting Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword mixed up. We're playing Skyward Sword and we're talking about why it isn't a good example. Can I please get out of this, by the way? I just saw the map. Oh, it's set a beacon. Okay, that's what I get for not paying attention. So beacons, I guess I can explain this now. Beacons are pretty useful feature in this game. You can set these on the map at any time. These are basically like waypoints. And when you set a beacon on the map, you can see it in the actual like game. So I'm going to set a beacon on that X by hitting C. Sorry about that. You probably were screaming at your monitor. I didn't mean to do that. I was just too busy blabbing on and on. So with beacons, let's just stop talking to her. I can show you what I mean when we get out there. Beacons will basically, you'll see like a little beam of light from where you set your beacon, and that'll be a way to follow it. You can follow the beacon and get to where you want to go. So it's pretty much a waypoint, and it's a good way of finding a way around. I kind of consider it like following the North Star. Just, I don't know. That's just what I just thought of there. Okay, so can we stop talking? No more talk, let me go play. I don't think I want to go through that way. I think I want to go through the door that opened in the cutscene. I think that makes sense, right? So this door will take us to the main part of the region. This region as a whole is called, waiting for the text to pop up, dramatic pause, and no payoff. I feel like an idiot there. No payoff at all. And I accidentally pulled my sword out. That's gonna happen quite a bit. The unfortunate thing with the shield is mapped. It's basically mapped to the nunchuck. That's how you use your shield. That's how you bash it forward. And I oftentimes accidentally like set my nunchuck down and just move it. So I'll accidentally pull my nunchuck out. So here's our first significant bit of combat here. These enemies are bokoblins, or bokoblins, I don't know how you want to pronounce it. And these are the most common enemy in the game. They will block your attacks, so you really don't want to pay too... I mean, the game makes you want to pay a lot of attention to how they block your attacks, but really don't pay attention to that, because you might think if they're blocking up, you want to attack down. Just attack them one way, and then they'll block, and then quickly attack them a different direction, like attack vertically and then attack horizontally. Like, alternate directions of how you attack. That's how I do it. Abusing your shield is always a good thing. I'll always bring that up. Is when in doubt, abuse your shield. So we'll be seeing that more as we go along. That was actually a pretty good. I mean, they're pretty easy enemies, but that was actually a pretty good takedown of all of them. They didn't fight as aggressively as they usually do. Maybe those are programmed to not fight aggressively because they're the early ones you fight in the game. So, I'm kind of glad they did this. They did put at least one familiar race in the game. Throughout the game, we will be meeting quite a few unique races. Like, we're not going to be seeing Zoras or Dekus or, any other familiar races that are recurring in the Zelda games. But at least we do get the Gorons. That's pretty cool. Though in this game, they're pretty sparse. You'll see a few of them just kind of walking around. They're kind of like merchants, I think. And I want this one to shut up, though. What do you want? Is it really going to make you want to know more? I don't want to know anything, actually. I'm just trying. I'm just anxious to play the game. I mean, we went through that long beginning, so you can't blame me. Guess it does open up a bird statue, so that's nice. I still don't know why that one at the very beginning of the sealed grounds was not open. Maybe it should be by now. So let's activate this one so we can warp here later. It's not really warping, though. It's like, basically when you jump back down into the region from the sky, you can pick a spot where you can drop off. So again, I'll show that once we actually use it again, because we'll definitely be using it a lot. Let's just keep going. And climb these vines. There was another thing of vines back there, so I actually want to check it out, just because again, my first time playing in a while, so I'm interested in reacquainting myself with the game, so I kind of want to see what's up here. I don't think this is the way I'm supposed to go, but actually this might lead back to the temple. Does it? No, it doesn't. Well, it leads back to the sealed ground, so pushing this log down to make a shortcut back down here. I want to see if that bird statue is unlocked, because I want to have that out of the way. I can fight these things again for some practice. Always good to get practice. I highly recommend taking every opportunity you can to fight enemies, especially early on in the game, just to get practice with the sword swinging mechanic. Okay, this is unlocked. I want to at least talk to it, though. It's always good to do that. So let's go back to where we were. So, as you notice, that Deku Baba took off one heart, and that kind of demonstrates the reasoning behind they went with 6 hearts at the beginning of the game. Because I was talking about it earlier, in an earlier episode, like, why they did that. And the main reason seems to be that, it's a different gameplay concept. You have these motion controls, and naturally they expect some people not to be quite accustomed to them. So they give you a bit more leeway with how much damage you can take with the 6 hearts to start you off with. And another thing that you'll notice as you're playing the game is enemies just do more quantities of damage to you. And I think I'm backtracking. Let me go the other way. Sorry. Yeah, but enemies do like a higher variation of damage to you. Like the Deku Baba, that like in older Zelda games, the Deku Baba would probably do what, maybe like half a heart of damage, maybe even a quarter of a heart. In this game, that one did a whole heart, and that's something that's actually going to be a pretty frequent amount of damage things would do to you is a whole heart. That's pretty much the standard in this game. It's just one heart, and then like weaker things like Keese, those will probably do like a half a heart. So that's just something you'll be getting used to. Is that, and you'll just be noticing in general is that the proportion of damage enemies do is going to be pretty varied and increased a lot more from previous Zelda games, which is something that I definitely welcome. I was kind of tired in like Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, where things like boulders hitting you did a quarter of a heart of damage. Like, it's ridiculous. In this game, a boulder hitting you would probably be 2 hearts, if there is such a thing. Which, yeah, there definitely are boulders in this game that can hit you, so... yeah, so here we are finally at the core location of the first province. I guess province is the right word, not region. This is the Faron Province, and the core area of it is the Faron Woods, which is the same name as it is in Twilight Princess, which is kind of interesting. It's not the same place. I guess a brief mention of where this game takes place in the Zelda timeline, now that it is actually official, this is actually at the very beginning of the timeline. And let me just shut up the doubts and beeping. But yeah, this is apparently supposed to be the very beginning of the Zelda timeline, but I do not want to have any timeline theorists on this video here, or in this LP in general, because again, as you can probably tell by now, I am not at all a story-oriented gamer. I am not at all a story-oriented gamer. That's why I was openly open. Yeah, I was open to people skipping out in the first 5 episodes, because it was all story and tutorial. Nothing that you want to see if you want to see a challenge run. And now we're finally getting into action, finally. So we have a couple more Bokoblins to fight. And a lot of times waggling does work, that's basically what I was doing there, but trust me, waggling is not gonna get you through the game. You do really have to focus on what direction you're swinging the sword. So right here we're actually being introduced to one of those new races I was talking about. Like, I really wasn't kidding. You're going to be introduced to a few new races to the Zelda lore in this game. This is the first one. This is, I think they're called Kiwis? Or Kikiwis, or something like that. But I can totally see plushies being made, like, based off of these guys. They're just so cuddleful. Cuddleful? Is cuddleful even a word? I don't know. Let's just shut this. Ah, man. Oh, Kikiwi. Okay. Oh no, Kikwi. Shut up, Fi! Jesus. Just go away. I will be cutting her out eventually. If I don't have anything to say by the time she comes out, I'm just like, oh, I'm cutting it out. Nope, not letting you ruin the flow of the video. Really, like, that's one of my major complaints about the game. That's one of the biggest cons of the game that I actually didn't really even include in my top 10 list, where I listed my top 10 Zeldas and I said pros and cons in it. That's the major con of the game. Fi really does break up the flow of the game. She pops out every 5 seconds. Okay, it's not quite that often, but you know what I mean. So, were those added to my dowsing? We will eventually be dowsing for those. Whoa. This thing's actually right against the mushroom. Huh. I guess this Kiwi has this scent of Zelda. That's weird. I don't remember this. I do know you have to douse for those eventually. Oh, shit. Get out of here. I said get out of here. Man, come on. I was doing diagonal slices. Diagonals can be really hard to do. And sometimes whenever you don't want to do them, you end up doing them. Again, like I was saying when we first got introduced to the sword, be patient with the sword fighting. You're not going to have it perfect on your first swing every time. You will mess up, and just try not to get frustrated by it, really. I want to switch to there we go. That worked. Hey, I actually did a jab attack on that one there. Only the jab didn't take it out, it just hurt it. So obviously a bombable wall here, we don't have any bombs. So really we're just exploring here. Go away! So apparently I can't go this way. Yeah, she forces me away. I don't understand why. Again, it's just, I don't like that about this game. It's how they don't let you explore sometimes. It's just, I don't know. I mean, there's something that Twilight Princess does and Wind Waker does as well. Like, all Zelda games kind of do it, so I'm not trying to hold it against this game in particular. I just wish I could explore on my own. Like, if I couldn't go somewhere, put a fence up. Okay, so right there, we got an Amber Relic. That is one of many... Man, what's a good word to describe this? Maybe we'll get a good word here. Collection? No, well, that's not a good word. Man, what's a good word to describe all that stuff? I guess collection items, so just say that. I'll call them upgrade items, though, because that's really what they are. Because the upgrades in this game that I was talking about when we visited the bazaar, in order to get upgrades, you want to turn in upgrade items. Man, I gotta come up with a good word for those, I really do. But, we have to turn in various collectibles in order to the upgrade guy. In order to get upgrades. So I definitely will be making use of that and demonstrating it more once we get further in the game. So this is the beacon actually, so this is where we want to... Wait, what? Yeah, but this is the beacon that I set. But why am I at the sealed grounds? I feel like we are backtracking. Am I backtracking? I'm totally back. I just backtracked. Fi turned me around. Fi turned me around.